Okay, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the March 26, 2024 regular board meeting of the Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners. The meeting is now called to order. I am Angela Clyburn, Vice Chair. Chairman Bishop is en route, but has asked me to begin the meeting as he approaches. I do have a statement to read. Pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, all persons, organizations, and media outlets, as requested, have been notified of the time, date, place, and agenda of this meeting. We do have an agenda before us, so beginning with executive session, we do have, okay. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Vice Chair, I make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner Harris and properly seconded by Commissioner Myers that we go into executive session. We will call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes. Okay, any nays? No nays. So ayes have it. So the vote has been placed to go into executive session. I will read the agenda items to go into the agenda items of executive session, beginning with Office of Human Resources. 3.01, HR Personnel Update, presented by Dr. Kumis. 3.02, Administrative Hire, presented by Dr. Kumis. 3.03, Employee Suspension, presented by Dr. Kumis. 3.04, Hiring of Personnel, presented by Dr. Kumis. Under Office of Superintendent, 4.01, Legal Advice related to Construction Project, Vince Ford Early Learning Center, presented by Dr. Richardson. That exhausts all of the items of executive session. We'll now adjourn to go into executive session. Thank you. So pardon me. Going into executive session, we do have 6 board members present, 1 absent for the time being. So now we will go into executive session. Thank you.
We'd like to make sure we are very aware that the executive session, am I right, if you can confirm this for me, Secretary Treasurer Lomanak, our executive session started at 6:01?
Executive session started at 6:07.
Meeting started, excuse me.
6:07.
Meeting started at 6:01? Is that correct?
The meeting started at
The meeting.
public session, yes,
And then we went to executive session at
6:07,
6:07, and we came out at what time?
6:46.
All right, just making sure that's on record.
And if I could, a motion was made to come out of executive session by Commissioner Weston and seconded by Commissioner Myers, and it was a unanimous vote except for Chairman Bishop was absent.
Thank you so much. That's why I needed to know that. I'm glad I could make it to the public session. We are now in our public session, and we are at the call to order, and we start this meeting off with 5.01, which is our invocation, which will be led by Commissioner Robert Lomanak.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. I recently watched a young man, a 10th grade student who was 16 years old, advocate for himself in the most difficult of circumstances. He proudly listed the things he was doing and had done right. He had insight about why he had been successful and what he needed to do to keep doing those things. He also humbly and genuinely admitted where he had failed. And then he explained what he was going to do to correct those failures. He detailed the precise points where he got off track. And he told everyone what he needed and what he needed to do to get back on track. Everyone in that room listened and provided support to him. Let us be that young man. Thank you, Chairman Bishop.
Thank you, Commissioner Lomanak. And just for accuracy and transparency, I did say 5.01. It is actually 6.01. okay, for the invocation. Again, thank you, Commissioner Lomanak, for your invocation, and also thank you for your service and commitment to Richland County. We're now at item 6.02, the agenda adoption. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Devine. Question or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll now cast our vote. Do you want to do this manually or you want to do it electronically? Electronically. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0 vote. Please let the record show that all commissioners are in attendance on tonight. We're now at item 6.03, which is School Board Spotlight, presented by Commissioner Devine and Commissioner Myers.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. At this time, we'll provide the school board spotlight. Tonight, we're excited to recognize Hand Middle School for being a school to watch by the National Forum to Accelerate Middle School Grades Reform. The highly sought-after School to Watch designation reflects Hand's emphasis on strong academics, sensitivity to young adolescents' needs and interests, and commitment to providing all students equal access to a high-quality education. To be named a school to watch, schools must submit an extensive application, undergo a site review, and display a strong commitment to the 37 criteria for high-performing middle schools identified by the National Forum. Schools to watch, along with their communities, have dedicated themselves to being strong exemplaries of sustaining growth and development for their students. Schools are recognized for a 3-year period, at the end of the period of which they must apply for redesignation and demonstrate that they are continuing to meet the National Forum's rigorous criteria. Hand students and staff will be presented their School to Watch banner during a special assembly in April. Tonight, will Hand Principal Dr. Patrice Green and her School to Watch core team members please come forward.
Don't step off the edge of that stage. Let them step back. Let you step back.
He on the edge.
Scaring me. Congratulations.
All right?
Commissioner Devine.
I think she's going to say something.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Dr. Patrice T. Green, and I'm the humble principal of Hand Middle School. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration, I'm extremely proud of the work that we have done together. I'm blessed to serve as the principal, but it is due to the collective impact of every member of our internal, external community, and most importantly, our scholars, to achieve such a tremendous title. We are the core team, and again, I would like for them to stand. They took the time to write the narrative, to pull together the interviews and all of the things that were required. However, it is due to the unwavering commitment of over 110 faculty and staff here at Hand Middle School that we received that title. I'm honored to say that we are now the second middle school in Richland School District 1 that has this national designation. So I would like the entire faculty and staff of Hand, those of us who are here, to please stand so everyone can see you all. Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon and executive leadership, for your continued support for the Hand Middle School family. It has been a challenge, and we know that with challenges come great responsibilities. And so we're very grateful for the faith that you have put in the faculty, staff, and administration of Hand, and great things are even yet to come, because there is nothing average about Hand Middle School. So again, we thank you all for your commitment, your love to Hand Middle School. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Green. At this time, we always look forward to opportunities to showcase the many talented students we have here in Richland School District 1. At this time, will Dr. Keisha McCoy Wilson, the chorus teacher at Hand Middle School, come and introduce us to a special performance. Dr. McCoy Wilson.
Hello and good evening, board and audience. I would like to showcase Hand Middle School's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade chorus. I'm very proud of their achievements. What they will be singing today is a madrigal, an Italian madrigal. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they'll be singing it a cappella, which means for those of us who are novice in music, it means without music. So, with that in mind, I would like for you to sit back and enjoy the talents of the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. Now, you will see that there are two students that have on a blue shirt, and it says Hand Middle School on it. Those two students just returned from a CPA competition where the band earned excellent. So we are very proud of their achievements. Also, there are two students that are here this evening that are also in the band that made District Honors Choir. We are very proud of their achievements, and we are so proud that they are here at Hand Middle School. The first, and the only selection you'll be hearing one selection, but it will be sung in two different languages. One in Italian, and then we will sing it again in English. Piece that we'll be singing is called Ooki Ankavia.
Maza
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. This concludes the school board spotlight for tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Devine. Dr. Witherspoon, would you like to say something at this time?
Absolutely. Congratulations again to Han Middle School. And talking with Dr. Green, we know that this recognition has been a couple of years in the making. So I appreciate the school, the team, hard work and dedication to get this recognition. And it certainly demonstrates what we do in the district, certainly at the middle level. But it celebrates and recognizes certainly what has been done in terms of access and pushing students to realize their dreams and potential, certainly at the middle level, access to higher level courses. But equally as so, this designation works to work on those things that we still need to strengthen. And the biggest room in the house is continuing to move forward and progress. So opening up the hood, so to speak, and letting folks see in, and that's a good thing. So congratulations certainly to this award and the good things that have occurred and will continue to occur here at this site. Congratulations, and certainly to the choir. We've learned this evening what a madrigal is. Both in Italian and English. Great job. Those are difficult pieces to perform, and certainly as middle grade students, outstanding. So again, congratulations and salute to Han Middle School this evening. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon.
Yeah.
As chairman of this board, I know I can speak on behalf of this entire board and say, Han, thank you for your display of excellence. Thank you for what you did tonight to give us a reason. And tonight we thank you for being that reason. Now, because you are a reason, I believe that you have school tomorrow. And I know it's a short week, but we don't need it to be a long night for you. So at this time, we do give you the opportunity to leave early from this meeting, and therefore you can get home on time. Is that okay, Ms. Dr. Green? All right. So let's applaud our students again.
Yeah. And Mr. Chair, if we, any parents of these students that are here this evening, if you would stand, let us recognize you as well. Absolutely.
All right. We'll now go to the Office of Academics, which is 7.01. Middle School Quiz Bowl program presented by Dr. Hasinger.
Good evening, Chairman Bishop, Board of Commissioners, and Superintendent Witherspoon. We're grateful for the opportunity this evening to spotlight our new Quiz Bowl team program. Its inception here in Richland 1 was the brainchild of Ms. Dr. Kaiser, who is our Advanced Academic Programs Coordinator. She came to me early this year and said, hey, I got an idea. I said, well, go check with Ms. Sturdivant because you report to her. And Sturdivant supported it. She came back excited, and before I knew it, our kids were competing in the region and in some cases dominating in the region. So I will turn things over to Dr. Kaiser for her to give you an interview, and hopefully you'll get to hear from some coaches and students as well. Thank you for this time.
Awesome.
He gives me way too much praise, but thank you. Good evening, Chairman Bishop, Board of Commissioners, and Dr. Witherspoon. The Midlands Region's Quiz Bowl Commissioner reached out to us and wanted us to join the party, as I would call it. It's Kershaw County, Lexington 2, Lexington 5, Sumter, and Richland 2. and it was the Midlands Region Quiz Bowl. There are four regions that have the Quiz Bowl in our great state of South Carolina. And of course, we did say yes. And we reached out to our schools, and Creighton, Hand, St. Andrews, along with W.G. Sanders. And then our lower division was Hayward Gibbs. And originally Southeast said yes, but then they said, not this year, maybe next year. But then Principal Myers definitely said, yes, definitely next year we will be with you. And so we have two different types of divisions within our school. We have the upper, which is 500 plus students, and then lower division, which is our lower, which is under the 500. And so what we did is we joined this great region, and we competed. And we had a great time. In our upper division, competed against Irmo, Camden, Leslie Stover Middle School. And while our lower division went up against North Central and Pine Ridge Middle. We played everyone at least twice, which was quite a bit of meets that we had. The Quiz Bowl season starts in the fall with a qualifying test. Students had to get one of the 25 questions correct to participate. They're hard questions. If they got one right, they made the team. Practices take place during the lunch hour, before, after school. The meets begin in January, and they finish by mid-March. The state competition is at the end of March also. Teams consist of 7th and 8th graders, but 6th graders can participate. 5 players play at a time, and substitutions are allowed between the rounds. There are a total of 4 rounds. During the first 1 and 2 rounds, team members can consult with the captain, but only the captain can respond during the match. During the rounds 3 and 4, that's the buzzer rounds. That is the fun time. That's where they get to buzz in and answer. And anyone can answer as long as they win the buzzer rounds. And if they are incorrect, the other team gets the answer. During the season, we had 7 different meets. 1 district event, which Midlands Technical College hosted at their airport campus, which W.G. Sanders won. W.G. Sanders also won our Midlands Region Challenge, which led them to the state competition at Winthrop University last Friday, where they competed against Mid Carolina. They lost sudden death match and came in 4th place at the state level. For them to get to the state level, we beat Camden. Which was ironic since they were the ones who invited us to the region. Oh, wow. As a district, we do a lot of behind the scenes that our students never really see and our community are never really aware of. For example, Mr. Henry called me last Thursday to inform me that he couldn't find a driver to drive or take W.G. Sanders to Rock Hill to participate in the state competition. The minute he said that, I took a pause. And he had perfect wait time. He really should have been a classroom teacher. And he said, Dr. Kaiser, I want to drive him myself. Here's the head of transportation taking our kids to the competition. His group, all his drivers, his staff, they worked their magic for us. This is a time where, we are stretched thin, but he made it work. We were on time for every meet. And we went up to North, we went up to Lexington too. That 5:30 time was hard, but he was able to make it. So we greatly appreciate everything they did for us during this time. Overall, we had 50 students participate this year. We had 10 coaches, and we did something different in our district that the other districts didn't do. We took the responsibility of the judging and the reading of the questions and the timekeeping for the school sites because we had over 20 district volunteers from SAB, Waverly to fill those roles. Professionally, it stretched us. Personally, we were able to have fun with our colleagues, but most importantly, we're doing something great for our students and for our schools. Personally, one of the highlights for me was watching students and parents gather from across the Midlands right before the matches for a light dinner. And at first, they were really apprehensive, sitting with each other, parents and other students. But by the last meet, they actually got there early, and they loved sitting in the cafeteria and just mingling with each other. And it brought everybody together. It was such a delight to see. So where do we go from here? Well, 1, we expand the middle program to include all of our schools. Some of our middle school teams stated that they wanted to start a 7th grade team to build capacity. Principals are serving up challenges between each other. I heard a rumor with Dr. Green and somebody from W.G. Sanders having a challenge throwdown already for next year of who's going to win. I'm also having meetings with the high schools. And so we have 3 high schools right now that have said that they're throwing their hat in the ring. And so they're going to be competing against Richland 2, Kershaw, and Sumter next year because they want to go to state. And so we're looking for a great another school year of representing Richland 1 across the state. So we're really excited about that. But for the remainder of the time, I'm going to have a few of our coaches come up, share their experiences, and then they're going to introduce some of their students to talk about how they felt about Quiz Bowl this year. So I know we have Hayward Gibbs, we have Hand, and W.G. Sanders. Hayward Gibbs, you want to come up?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Naisha Rogers. I'm a proud teacher at Hayward Gibbs Middle School and one of the coaches alongside Ebony Johnson, led by Dr. Gregory Pickett. With our school, we are extremely proud of their accomplishments, of their tenacity, of their girth. We were extremely proud due to some of the circumstances and obstacles that we had to face. One big obstacle is we had 12 students. 8 of them were 6th graders, 2 were 7th graders, and 2 were 8th. So here we are thinking that, our gifted and talented program students would be in there the most, but it was the 6th graders that pulled it out for us the most. What confidence to be so young, coming fresh out of high school, competing in front of people you don't know. That gave me such joy. Our group was made of probably half and half, girls and boys. The one 8th grader participated often. The other one was in sports. So we competed against football, led by basketball, led by track. It was even one competition when we only had the minimum of 5 students participate. And for them to have the stamina to listen and to engage was amazing to us. Dr. Pickett is also extremely proud of this being our first year. We will be in a smaller school, and with our programs being a little smaller than others. I know some other schools had some of the same, adversities that we had, but for us, it seemed like it was a long time coming. And I want to thank Dr. Witherspoon, Dr. Kaiser, and others for supporting us. Again, bus transportation was very interesting, the routes that our little cohort had to run. But through it all, we persevered. And I appreciate you all for giving us the opportunity to represent Richland 1. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kayla Stevens. I have been in Richland 1 for 8 years and been at Hand for 5. This, like most everybody, was our first year doing Quiz Bowl. It was absolutely fun and entertaining, and also made me realize how incredibly competitive I am. As our kids were competing, me and my other coach, Ms. Wolfram, we were in the back pressing our imaginary buzzers. But what was interesting is these kids knew questions that I was flabbergasted that the fact that they knew them. But just like Dr. Kazar said, our kids had such a good time learning together, competing together, and also seeing their other friends, whether they do band together at different competitions. So they would compete against each other and then go hug each other and talk right after competing against one another. We're so grateful for our transportation. We never was late. Our kids were always on time. They truly are the backbone of our district, and we're so grateful for them. One of our captains, Asa Adler, he's going to share a little bit about his experience, but I think as a teacher, we have a lot of memories within the classroom, but sometimes those after-school activities like Quiz Bowl, where you just get to hang out with kids and laugh and have fun without the stress, sometimes make the best memories. So this is Asa Adler, and he's going to share a little bit about his experience.
Thank you. as you heard, I was the captain, and I believe that the best part of Quiz Bowl was the variation in a child's schedule. Me being a child. School is a very slightly repetitive program where you go to school, you come home, and you do your homework, and then you go to bed, and then you wake up, rinse and repeat. However, after school activities like Quiz Bowl I believe helped me and my peers to break the cycle and do something that was academically related, but also fun. Who knew that academics could be fun? And another really interesting thing about Quiz Bowl was if you had a question in Quiz Bowl that you might have gotten incorrect, well, in the practice afterward, if it had to do with something in your school program, you could go over it, and it would help benefit the rest of your classes at school. And I thank you very much for allowing us to do Quiz Bowl, and that's all I have to say for now.
I'm going to ask W.G. Sanders, all of you come on up, because they travel together. This is what I've learned about this team with W.G., is that all of the kids kind of stick together and they come together, so just come on up.
Hello, board. I am Madison Muller. I am a social studies teacher and one of the coaches along Ms. Khan from W.G. Sanders. We're both social studies teachers. We represent Ms. Smith. She's back there, and we have our own behavior, so she's going to behave today, I promise. As we stand before you tonight, we're filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude and pride. Just a few months ago, we took on this challenge of being Quiz Bowl coaches, not quite sure of what was going to happen. We really enjoyed being coaches, and it was different from my experience as a Richland 1 student who actually competed in Quiz Bowls when I was at Alcorn and Keenan just like a couple years ago. The highlight of my experience came from working with a phenomenal group of students. Like, our students really, they're smart. Like, we can't answer the questions. There's no way we could. And a good bit of them, we had no clue what the answer was. But they showed an unwavering commitment to excellence, pushing themselves beyond, pushing us, making us to be better. As our first season, we not only won the regionals and the district championship, but we also shattered stereotypes, we broke barriers, and we came to show that greatness has no bounds. So we just wanted to thank Dr. Kazor, Ms. Smith for allowing us this opportunity, and Richland 1 for saying, that's great, you guys can do this. My nerd herd, that's what I refer to them as. I'm sure it's not politically correct. The Team Tigers, we just wanted to congratulate you guys and thank you. So we'll wait to see how great you do in future endeavors. Thank you. My students, only a few of them were able to make it tonight. A great bit of them said this was past their bedtime, which is also past my bedtime. So we will leave after this. But Andrew Marriott and Mason Sumter, two of our team captains, along with Easton Graham, who showed up to represent us tonight, will speak.
Hello, board members. My name is Mason Sumter. I go to W.G. Sanders and I am part of the Magnet program. Me and my team had a great time participating in Quiz Bowl. It was great to learn from others and lots of fun, even when the questions made you tilt your head a little. In all, it was Sanders' first year competing, and we did great. We finished first in the district, first in the region, and went to state. Even though we didn't win, I am still very glad that I joined the team, and I am very proud of my teammates and thank my coaches for our success. I believe Quiz Bowl is great, whether it be to make friends and learn new things or even just to prove your smarts.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
Well, first of all, I would like to address the board and thank you for allowing us our time here. me, Mason, and Eason are all here on behalf of the WG Sanders Quiz Bowl team. As some of you may know, this is our first year participating in the Quiz Bowl, and we managed to win both district and regional championships with a win streak of 11 out of 12, and we proceeded on to the state championships. This would not have been possible without our devoted teammates who practice every Tuesday and Wednesday for weeks on end, but also the support provided by our coaches and principal, Ms. Hutto Muller, Ms. Khan, and last but certainly not least, Ms. Andrena Smith. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
What an amazing presentation, and so good to hear our students competing on a state level. Thank you again for the presentation. We'll now move on. Oh yeah, any parents here tonight with some of our champions? Any parents tonight with our Quiz Bowl? Would you please stand? There we go. Thank you all. I know that you all will be departing now, but just thank you so much for being here to let us acknowledge some of our great examples of Richland 1. All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. We'll now go to item 8.01, which is our public participation. We'd like to read a statement. We're now at the public participation portion of our meeting where an individual can speak on an agenda or a non-agenda item. Speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. You are allowed 3 minutes to speak, and at the last 30 seconds of your time, our parliamentarian, Commissioner Jamie Devine, will cue you to start wrapping up your comments. The board will not respond to you tonight, but we will respond to you in writing within 10 business days. Our first participant tonight for public participation is Mr. Lee Carroll.
Good afternoon. My name is Lee Carroll with Save Our Kids. I was going to come here this afternoon and blast the board, but I talked to the young lady right here, and I'm going to go back to the school, but dealing with quality air control at Eau Claire High School. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee Carroll. We're now at Robin Smith. Robin Smith.
Good evening. I'm actually here. I'm here. I came to the last board meeting and actually let a young lady take my spot to speak. I do want to address that if we all are going to follow the rules, or we're going to be required to follow the rules, that everyone should, whether we come here to speak in support of you or not. At the last board meeting, I know there was a speaker that spoke who did not sign up on the book, yet came and spoke to the chairman and asked him to sign his name up. Now, there's no issue with that, but your rules state that's not what's supposed to happen. Now, if we're gonna practice, we should practice what we preach. And if that gentleman was allowed to speak, whether he's soliciting for barbering kits or not, that young lady should have been able to speak. I have no problem giving up my spot, but if we're gonna allow people to not follow the rules and allow others to speak, then we should allow everybody to speak, even if they're not signed up. Moving along, I wanted to discuss schools in my community. I see that we have a lot of Richland 1 employees here tonight, and this is by no means a reflection of them, because I feel that the conditions of our schools is something that has been going on for quite a while. I was able to look at different things at different schools. I see things from the rodents the ants at Lower Richland, the rodents, I seen the raccoons. I know the director, Henry, indicated that he's a pest professional. That's fine. But my question is, at what point do we actually really start taking care of the schools? Maintenance can only do what they're giving funds to be able to do. They're only allowed to do what they can. I saw lots of documentation that shows that Southeast has put in orders, Lower Richland has put in orders for things, safety issues, as a matter of fact, ID cards, access to those cards, doors not being closed, not being able to close, security access, video cameras being requested to be repositioned. Lots of these things, even when it came to the pest control, I saw that these requests were put in August of last year, and they were not closed out until those pictures came online in February. Now, I do know that Orkin shows up, but it shouldn't take 6 to 7 to almost 8 months to be able to do that. If there's an issue with funds, ask the community for what you need, but we definitely need to make sure that we're taking care of the schools. I'm only speaking for the Lower Richland community, but it would be great because it should be for the kids.
Halston Morgan.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Halston Morgan. I'm a building supervisor at Hayward Gibbs Middle School. I'm not here by myself. I'm here with the supervisors from all over our great school district. We're here to support the current management team for custodial operations, and we're here to support them continuing to lead our group. They have over 40 years of custodial experience. They're always consistent with us. They're consistent when it's hot outside. They're consistent when it's cold outside. Even during a worldwide pandemic, they were always there to answer our calls, make sure we were good, giving us the information that we needed to make sure we kept our kids safe. They're here to celebrate with us when we succeed with things, and they're here to give us tough love and give us coaching when we don't quite hit the mark on different things that we have to do. I sent you guys an email early this morning about basically what I'm talking about here, and I want to say a small passage from that email. To get a glimpse of the essential role our area supervisors and custodial managers play, I would encourage a walkthrough and shadowing of the area supervisors. Our summer cleaning program will be starting soon, and getting a glimpse of the huge responsibility the area supervisors have will provide a sense of clarity on the amount of the physical and mental power that's required to keep dozens of our school buildings clean and hundreds of our custodial members ready to go and ready to work. Hopefully I'll be hearing back from you guys. Thank you.
Just want to make sure that I'm clear about what I'm doing here. This is not a response to this team of custodians, but just like I use some leniency to allow a student to speak beyond the mark of time on last week, just like I use a little lenience to say to these students, you can go home and have some time to rest between tonight and tomorrow. Thank you for coming and addressing your concern. If you want to take the time to depart so you can make sure our schools are ready to serve our students, you can take the moment now to leave. We did hear your concern. We don't want to hold you, but we're not going to respond to you tonight. I just want to make sure if we had a moment for you all to walk out, that you can walk out together. Is that something you all like to do? Okay, we'll give you a moment. Let's clap. Come on, everyone. Come on. Come on. Let's celebrate our custodians. It's not necessarily part of the protocol, but it's leniency. All right, Charles Scriven.
Well, don't do that if he's speaking.
All right. Good evening, superintendents and commissioners. I am Charles Scriven, a resident of the Creekside Inn Reflection Subdivision and the vice president of the Creekside Homeowners Association. We are the community of homes that is adjacent to the under construction Vince Ford Early Learning Center. I come tonight before the board to express our dissatisfaction with how the homeowners in Creekside are being ignored as if we had something to do with the flooding of our backyards and homes from the water being released from the retention pond. This now has the appearance of collateral damage. It wasn't intended, but it happened. I contacted the Risk Management Department, informed them as what has happened in Creekside. I received a response back saying that someone would be contacting you to visit your area. It has been 3 weeks, and I still have not been contacted by anyone to make any assessment of the damages, arrange compensation to restore property and home damage. Yes, there were an assessment done on the retention pond. A reinforcement of the barriers was done to reduce the amount of water being released from the pond to avoid further overflowing into the backyards of the homes that are adjacent to the retention pond. No one has addressed the damages to the homeowner's property. What is the delay in addressing the concerns of the homeowners who have sustained damages from the retention pond? The majority of our homeowners are retired, elderly, who likes to enjoy the surroundings of their home. Not being able to walk out into their backyards after a heavy rainfall, knowing that there is a stream of water flowing through their backyards. So the grounds are so saturated from the standing water makes it unsafe to walk on. Or the homeowner who goes into their sunroom to find 2 to 3 inches of water that has entered into their
30
room.
seconds.
Backward. The homeowners of Creekside in reflection has been greatly impacted and should not have to bear the cost and wait to get repairs done to their property when they had nothing to do with what caused the damage. Thank you for this time.
All right. John Black.
Chairman Bishop, members of the board, I first want to say thank you for allowing me to speak at the last school board meeting. I was up front and the sign-in book was removed before I had an opportunity to sign in, and I thank you for allowing me to approach you to ask you to speak on behalf of the students within our district. Facts matter. I rise again in support of the Hayward Career and Technology Center. In celebrating its 50 year of achievements, the students at Haywood are working hard to take advantage of the 18 different programs available to them. While for now my focus has been on the barbering program, that is just the beginning. Yesterday, I spoke with Representative Leon Howard, who chairs the Richland County Legislative Delegation. He has agreed to hold the April monthly delegations meeting at Hayward Career and Technology Center to expose our elected officials to all the outstanding programs Hayward Career and Technology Center provides for our students. Of course, everything comes at a cost, but the programs being offered to our students shouldn't come at a cost to them. The barbering program provides students an opportunity to graduate high school already licensed, trained, and educated to start their own business and hit the ground running. The opportunities being provided and the programs in place and in the works establish a foundation to allow our students to succeed in life by hitting the ground running and to have a successful future. I want to shout out Master Barber Instructor Arthur Stevens for his vision in guiding the barbering program and our students' future through the program. Currently, through that vision, the Hayward Career and Technology Center is working on repurposing a modular unit on the grounds to establish a student barbershop, a first in the state of South Carolina. Again, Richland 1 is leading the way to establish a model for other districts statewide. Thanks to Mr. Stevens and the support of Principal Craig Washington, this vision in support of our students' future is what makes teachers and instructors of Richland 1 such a valuable asset to our students. Mr. Stevens is currently in Greenville with 5 of his barbering students competing for state championships in leadership, occupational, and skill-related competitions at the Skills USA program. We wish them the best of luck in their competition and look forward to their return to Columbia Thursday evening with state championships. As I've previously announced, the Richland County Neighborhood Council is currently taking donations to help offset and defray the cost of these kits the students are required to purchase, but some are unfortunately having difficulty paying out of their pocket for. We will be having a presentation Thursday night of the funds donated at our monthly membership meeting. It takes a village, and it's my hope that going forward, the funding for these kits will be provided to help students succeed and not be a hindrance or roadblock that prevents students from enrolling in the program. The students are worth our investment to ensure and enable their success in their futures. Thank you.
Jessica McMillan.
Good evening, board. Glad to be back with you tonight after being gone for the last meeting due to my son's baseball game. Unfortunately, they lost, but what happened after that was a great life lesson for him and an insight into the amazing people that come into your life. I was told that the 3rd grade year is a big transition year. The teachers expect more out of their students, encouraging them to be more independent, responsible for their actions, and productive young people in their school and community. I've already seen evidence of this happening, and it's such a blessing. My son took the initiative to write his teacher a note inviting her to his baseball game, the night of our last board meeting. He made sure to include the time, location, and even the color of his socks and his jersey number so that she would know what team he was on. He had mentioned it to me, but I know teachers have their own lives outside of school, so I didn't want to get his hopes up. I usually watch the games from the playground with little brother. Towards the end, we made our way back over for the last inning to watch. My son is extremely competitive, and sometimes it gets the best of him. This night was no exception. He'd made an awesome play to get the other team out at third, but in the end, they couldn't get the win. He was convinced that if he'd gotten to pitch, they would have won. This resulted in what my grandmother would call cutting a fool. He refused to shake hands at the game after the game, which I told him was not good sportsmanship and not acceptable, using the angry, gritted teeth mom voice. He stomped his feet, threw his hat down on the ground in the dugout, and finally said he'd go shake hands, but at that time it was already too late. At this point, I was frustrated, little brother was getting on my nerves, and I'd finally noticed my son's teacher standing on the sidelines quietly. I laughed. I said, "Hello, Dr. Suber. I'm sure you witnessed our awesome show of sportsmanship." She smiled and said yes, and then watched my son marching towards the car. I yelled his name, he finally looked back. As soon as he saw who was standing next to me, he goes, slumped his shoulders, and walked back over to her. She then walked over to him, gave him a big hug, and talked him. I teared up. To see someone else love and encourage your child speaks volumes. She once sent me a dojo message saying that she was Team Tucker. After that night, I have no doubts. At the honor roll parade this morning, I was talking to another parent whose child also had that teacher, and she is still his favorite that he's ever had. There are so many wonderful teachers like my sons in this district that we have lost, and I am terrified of losing more. There's only so much I can do as a parent, but you better believe I will keep loving on them, giving them hugs, and supporting them and having their back. As we move into the next school year, I hope we can work together to better support our outstanding teachers we have already, and hopefully we can fill our vacant classrooms with more outstanding educators like them. Thank you.
Forgive me if I'm having a little difficulty with reading this name, but I believe it's Antoniqua. Antoniqua. All right. Antanequ. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Okay, might have been a student. If you're the person who signed up and we admitted you, please see me after the meeting, okay? I apologize in advance. All right, we're going to item 9.01 under the consent agenda, March 12th, 2024, and 9.02, February 2024 financials. Is it okay if we take both of these as a board? Yes. Seeing no objection? What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Myers to take 9.01 and 9.02 together for a vote. It's been seconded by Commissioner Devine. Question or discussion about any of these items? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll now cast our vote electronically. Manually. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 7-0 vote. We're now under the Office of Human Resources. We will have item 10.01. HR personnel update.
Good evening, Board Chair, Bishop, members of the School Board of Commissioners, and Dr. Witherspoon. HR updates were provided in executive session as information. If you have any questions, I will answer them at this time.
Any questions at this time? Seeing none, hearing none. Item 10.02, administrative hire. Dr. Kumas.
Yes, sir. The administration recommends hiring Jamal Barr for the position of assistant principal at Hayward Gibbs Middle School for the 23-24 school year. The administration so recommends.
You heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Devine, second by Commissioner Harris. Question or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll now cast our vote electronically. Seven 7-0 vote, the ayes have it. The motion passed unanimously. 10.03, employee suspension. Dr. Kumas.
Yes, sir. The administration recommends that AG employment be suspended without pay for 2 days.
You heard the recommendation of the administration?
Yes, sir. The administration so recommends.
You heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board? Commissioner Harris.
Mr. Chair, I'm asking that we postpone this pending further investigation.
All right, this is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's a motion by Commissioner Harris to postpone this till we get further information?
Further investigation.
Further investigation. Second by Commissioner Devine. Question or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, this will be manually. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 7-0 vote. Motion passed. We're now going to item 10.04, hiring of personnel. Dr. Kumas.
Yes, sir. The administration recommends hiring all teachers on the attached list for the 23-24 and for the 24-25 school year. The administration so recommends.
You heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Myers, second by Commissioner Devine. Question or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor, we will take this electronically. We'll take it manually. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. If there's no objection, we'd like to take on the Office of Finance all of these items. I will read them in, and then we will take any questions from any item at that time. 11.01, contract. Science supplies and STEM laboratory equipment and furniture, presented by Ms. Outing. 11.02, contract. New laptop computers, presented by Ms. Outing. 11.03, contract. Provide new educational books, textbooks, and publications. Cooperative contract, presented by Ms. Outing. 11.04, contract. HVAC replacement, W.G. Sanders Middle School Grace Theater, Ms. Outing. 11.05, contract. Furniture and furniture consulting services, presented by Ms. Outing. 11.06, contract. Temporary nurse staff services, presented by Ms. Outing. 11.07, contract. Provide Chronos software license and support, presented by Ms. Outing. 11.08, contract. Scholastic summer reading books, presented by Ms. Outing. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Harris that 11.01, 11.02, 11.03, 11.04, 11.05, 11.06, 11.07, 11.08, and then it's been seconded by Commissioner Devine. Question or discussion for any of these items? I got Commissioner Lomanak.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. I've just got a couple of questions about 11.02, 11.04, and 11.06.
Please proceed.
Okay. For the laptops, obviously I don't have concerns about getting additional laptops for students. I'm wondering if we're making any progress on getting more laptops for our instructional assistants. I continue to hear some concerns that they don't have laptops. I got an email just yesterday about that. Are we able to provide our instructional assistants with laptops?
That is in process. Be happy to provide the board with an update on that.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. Chairman Bishop, do you want me to move on to 11.04 or see if there's...
Yeah, you had the floor.
Okay. On the HVAC replacement also, I don't have any concerns about replacing an HVAC, except it's obviously very expensive. I have heard from some Sanders folks with some questions about the condition of the theater generally and whether there might be any near-term plan to overhaul it or replace it in any way.
That's an overall project. This HVAC piece is one of those things. There's several things that are going on, lighting, HVAC, and so forth. And certainly, I think we've done before, but we can provide an update on the overall piece. This is just one of those updates that's going on in that theater.
Great, thank you. And then on 11.06, the nurse staffing services, can someone provide us with the number of nurses that we are short right now and whether the contracting services will be able to fill all of those positions?
Nurse Jones.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Currently, we have 11 positions, and all 11 positions currently have full-time agency nurses Monday through Friday.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop.
Okay, while Ms. Nurse Jones is here, is there anyone who wants to question anything about 11.06? Okay, thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Nurse Jones. Commissioner Weston.
Yes, I'm asking about 11.04. You're talking about replacing the HVAC system. Is there any talk about making it handicap accessible in the Grace Theater at all?
Mr. Cooper is coming up.
Good evening, Board. At this time, we have not addressed any discussions about the handicap accessibility, but we are discussing the refurbishment of the Grace Theater in its entirety, so that can be addressed.
Please do. Thank you.
Any other questions about this particular item from any board members? If you don't mind me asking a few questions.
Certainly.
Grace Theater is named after one of our Hall of Famers, Mr. Freddie Grace. Happened to be a place where this guy named Aaron Bishop was named Mr. Keenan in 1993. I don't know who that guy is, but he's somehow associated with that building.
Gotcha.
But there's another memory of that building where I saw a young lady literally fall down what was not a illuminated walkway. As you proceed downward in that facility, is not illuminated. So I know we're talking about the overall refurbishing of it. I would like to know what that looks like, because as I do see us investing in the HVAC, I'm believing that the reason why we're doing that is so the children or the students can have somewhere to perform, because at this point they won't have any place to perform if we don't fix the HVAC, Dr. Witherspoon? Like, what is the urgency of just this one fix?
So this is going to be a project that's phased out. This first phase to replace the HVAC system is so that we can get conditioned air into the facility. There are other projects that's going to be going on in that facility, such as lighting and rigging replacements, the stage replacement. We need to do something with the flooring, the seating that's in there. There are many other items that we're going to have to address, but I will include these other two with the accessibility as well as the lighting.
And as I look at this and question, what are we talking about, a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, just in your guesstimate?
Yeah, I would say roughly a 2-year plan. Just like with the HVAC replacement, we're finding out that there are long lead times in getting the equipment in. So that hurts us.
Jamie, is your hand up for a question? I think I saw you have. Okay. I'm just asking this question here. Why not just do it all at once? It's the question, right? But I want you to make sure you're communicating that the HVAC is a necessity or urgency for what? Student usage right now?
No, just so that once we get the conditioned airspace, then we can start with the replacement of the other items that I've mentioned.
All right. So
because we don't want to put that in there, and we don't have any control over the air quality, and we start with mold and mildew and all the other nuances.
Okay. Any other questions at this time? Commissioner Harris.
I didn't have a question, but something that our facility manager pointed out. I think some of these items we're repairing are taking up to 30-something weeks for a lot of the stuff to get to us.
Absolutely. With this certain project, it's 36 weeks before we even get the unit itself.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that was shared, that sometimes the delay with some of these projects is not because we're not doing, it's because everybody's going through a shortage of people. There's a people shortage everywhere. So getting in a lot of this stuff is going to take a lot of time. And I asked that question in committee when I saw the 30-something weeks, because you were talking about months. You're talking about over half a year. So just wanted to make sure that that is out there to my colleagues to know that getting in a lot of this stuff does take some time.
As we talk about that, Commissioner Harris, if it's taking that long for that, what is replacing that space at this point? Because it used to be used for events, right? If it doesn't have conditioned air, what's in place of that now?
Currently, the facility is not in use.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But it used to have a use for events. So what are we using in place of that now?
So I can answer that. As a parent who has a child in theater, we use either C.A. Johnson Theater or we use Keenan High School Theater over the last 2 to 3 years. And I will say that the school has communicated to the parents, particularly those who have theater students, to let us know a progress and process of what has happened over the last several years. Because I will tell you, I think my child performed one time, and I think after that we've been closed down. But we use either Keenan Stadium or we work with C.A. Johnson to use one of those theater school stadiums to ensure that our students are successful. And one year, we've also used the cafetorium also. And so that has been successful for us as well.
Yeah, I think I remember being there that night, your star in your house did a great performance at that theater. I think that's the last time I was there with an event. So just wanted to know, and thank you for letting people know that it's being communicated. And so as we use this platform, we want to make sure everyone's aware that this is what we are doing so that we can have a performance and these students are still having something to use. Dr. Witherspoon, I did hear you say something.
Same thing.
Same thing. All right. All right. Any other questions about any of the items on the floor for a vote? Anyone on the items between 11.01 to 11.8? Okay, seeing none, hearing none. We'll cast our vote manually or electronically, Dana? Okay, we're going manual. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0 vote.
Thank you.
We're now on the Office of Operations, 12.01, support letter, land acquisition, McIntyre, JNGB, presented by Mr. Grant.
Good evening, Commissioner Bishop. The administration is seeking approval of the Board of Commissioners to provide McIntyre JNGB with a letter of support to the South Carolina Department of Administration related to their efforts to acquire a parcel of land located within the district footprint. The purchase of the land will remove that parcel from the tax rolls. The land purchase will allow the installation to achieve increased aircraft recovery potential as well as pilot and civilian survivability and safety. The administration so recommends.
You heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Devine. Question or discussion? Commissioner Harris.
Thank you. Mr. Grant, just for sake of conversation, as I asked in committee, this is at no cost to the district. This is just, we're approving a letter to support the purchase, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Seeing no other questions, discussion, we'll now cast our vote. We're sticking with manually. Yes, sir. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 7-0 vote. We're now on the Office of Superintendent, 13.01, legal advice related to construction project, Vince Ford Early Learning Center, presented by Dr. Richardson.
Hello. Okay. Good evening, Chair Bishop, Commissioners, and Superintendent Witherspoon. The administration requests authority to negotiate and execute changes to the terms of the agreement with Contract Construction, including but not limited to temporary suspension of the contract in an effort to preserve resources and decrease costs to taxpayers. The administration so recommends.
You heard the recommendation of the administration. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Harris for the said motion, second by Mr. Devine for the said recommendation from the administration and motion. Question or discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll now cast our vote manually. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. 7-0 vote. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. We're now at item 13.02, Superintendent's Report, presented by Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop, members of the board. This morning, March 26, we held a news conference at C.A. Johnson High School where Prisma Health presented a decommissioned ambulance, which has been donated to the school for the Health Sciences Magnet. Thank you to Mr. Anthony Jackson, Ms. Regina Brown, and all others at Prisma Health for their ongoing support of the C.A. Johnson Health Sciences Magnet and for all that they do for the students and staff through their long-term partnership with the district. And we had students at the event, students that spoke, wanted to go into medical field, and one of the interesting things, certainly about the health science program, and Mr. Jackson from Prisma spoke about this, there are all kinds of industry and job and career opportunities that are associated in medical science that may or may not have to do with medicine itself. So making our students aware of those things and those opportunities certainly provides vision and opportunities for our students as we move forward. But again, thank you so much to Prisma Health for that long-term partnership, not only with C.A. Johnson, but certainly with Richland One as a whole. Tomorrow, March 27th, we will hold a military appreciation celebration at C.A. Johnson, where we will celebrate all branches of the military and share information with high school students about scholarships, career opportunities that are available through military service. The special guest speaker will be Colonel Jason Edwards, commander of the U.S. Army Soldier Support Institute. There will also be a rifle presentation from the Lower Richland High School's award-winning Army Junior ROTC drill team and a performance by the 282nd Army Band from Fort Jackson. I want to remind our elementary and middle school students that the Superintendent's Book Club Challenge deadline is Thursday, March 28th. This year's challenge began on February 12th. And if our students read for at least 1.5 million minutes by Thursday, I'll be slimed, but it will be well worth it. And was at an event yesterday with at Watkins Nance, where we had Boeing representatives there, and they were talking about our BLAST program. But some of the students at Watkins Nance certainly reminded me they're proud of that boost program, but they're even more proud of being able to slime me coming up. So I've heard from students all over the district, and we're looking forward to that event, but we're also excited about their love of reading and getting those minutes in, even if it is for the slime, but all good there. Parents looking for fun activities that will also keep their children learning throughout the summer can register them for our Summer SOAR 2024 programs and camps. Registration is now open for Summer SOAR, which will be held June 3rd through July 11th. Programs and activities offered for students at all grade levels include sports, aerospace, robotics, music, visual arts, theater, science, technology, math, and more. Sessions will be offered at our elementary, middle schools, and high school sites throughout the district, as well as sites throughout the community. For more information and to access our Summer SOAR brochure, go to www.richland1.org/SOAR. Parents who have any questions can call our Summer SOAR hotline at 803-400-1692. Again, 803-400-1692 for our Summer SOAR hotline. And we do have hard copy brochures that are in print at this time, but the information is on our website. Students in the Animal Science 2 class at W.J. Keenan High School will hold their next community dog grooming clinic this Saturday, March 30th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the school. Dog owners may drop off and pick up their dogs in Keenan's teacher parking lot. Grooming is $25 and includes a bath and blow dry, as well as nails, oral, and ear care. Appointments are not necessary. Additional information is posted on our website at richland1.org. Finally, Thursday, March 28th, will be an early dismissal day for our students and staff. Students and staff will observe spring break March 29th through April 5th. Regular schedules will resume on Monday, April 8th. And to all of the members of Team 1, have a great spring break. Mr. Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. Any questions at this time for Dr. Witherspoon's superintendent's report? Commissioner Weston.
Yes, Dr. Witherspoon, I've been asking for a report or work orders on requests that have been made so we could see what buildings needed repair, what the response has been. And I know that I've seen where they said work is in progress and then they say work has been completed. What has been done to those people who've requested since August that dumpsters be emptied, that dumpsters be placed, for example, with the food kitchen, there's no dumpster for them to dump things. Hopkins Elementary, with some safety issues with access and some other things. And with Eau Claire, with some of the work that needs to be done there. Lower Richland, I saw that they had completed the work, but when visiting Lower Richland, there's a big trash can in the hall and the leak is still from the ceiling. So I don't understand the work in progress, what has been done, and then the work completed when the work there's still damage there. So I need clarification, and I think it would help if we had something in writing to show where the requests have been made and what has been done.
And that is something we can certainly follow up on, Commissioner West.
Right. Any other questions? Commissioner Harris.
Thank you. Dr. Witherspoon, just two questions. The eclipse is coming. What are our plans for the district? And that's one of two questions.
Absolutely. In terms of the eclipse that is slated for April 8th, at the day we get back from spring break. At this point, just talking with the Midlands superintendents, we know some other districts across the state, based on their spring break and some other things, have turned that into an e-learning day. We're planning on a regular day, and I have a meeting with some other superintendents in the Midlands. South Carolina is not in the direct path of it, although I think there are about 14 to 17 states that are. And we'll be having some discussion about that tomorrow in executive team and following with the districts. But we will be, other districts in the Midlands, but we will be sending communications home to parents before this week is out, because again, we have spring break next week, and then that Monday that we come back. So at this time, we're looking at a regular day with some information, again, going to schools, going to parents, and all about safety and those types of things during that particular day, given the time that is anticipated. And also the last information that we received, I think, from statewide, I think, not being in the path of totality, but then also there was anticipation of that day being very cloudy. As well. But again, we will continue to monitor those events. But we do plan to send communications home this week in anticipation of spring break, and then as that is the day we're due to come back.
Okay. Then I had a second question, and it was mentioned to us at the Realtors Breakfast about the faculty and the games.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Have we had a chance?
We have sent, and that piece, it was a suggestion, recommendation, what have you, that came from one of the realtors. And we did send out information last week about all staff with the Richland One ID badge getting into sporting events free of charge. That communication went out.
And that covers all games, so that our athletic directors know games. That faculty should be allowed to go into those games. I think it was an excellent point that was made by you and that realtor, that our students, as you heard a parent talk today about her child and the teacher being on the sideline. I think that just spoke to exactly what we were talking about there. So it's good to hear that now our faculty and staff can enter all games at no charge. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, any other questions? Commissioner Weston.
Is there an update on the student who spoke at last meeting? And if not, have we set aside some time to review the zero policy?
In terms of, we do have a process with regard to handling disciplinary matters, and we do ask that students and parents follow that process.
Okay. Will we find out as a board what the follow-up is?
In terms of the process, and that's why we ask that individuals follow the process. At this point, because the process hasn't been followed, or if in case a process has not been followed, I'm speaking in generalities here, there's nothing to follow up on. if that makes sense.
Dr. Richardson, I think you want to speak to this.
Yeah, I do. So we cannot discuss
Sure.
student matters because of FERPA within a public setting. So I would caution against going down this road.
I'm interested in when we will be able to address the zero tolerance policy and review that.
So I will follow up. We do not have a zero tolerance policy. We have a student code of conduct that the district adheres to and follows as far as Richland 1 policies. We do not have a zero tolerance policy.
Okay. So there's a student code that is not set for review?
I do believe that is reviewed every year prior to a school starting again. So as a matter of fact, that should come up for review during this time period right now. I'm not exactly certain when that review starts, but it is for the spring. And so by the time school rolls out again, the handbook is updated every year. So yes, ma'am.
Will that come back to the board so that we can be a part of or see it or be a?
Yes, because I do believe that there is a part of it that the board signs before it goes out to the students.
Okay. Just interested in that particular update. And the other question I have, Dr. Witherspoon, teachers who were moved on day 45, and they are now in the process of taking a look back at will they get first dibs, or how does that process work for the new school year that's coming up? Will they be told that there are vacancies? Will the principal have to request it? What's the process for
Yes, there is
transfer?
a process
What's that
for
process?
transfers in general. And then as we stated before, there will be some follow-up with those individuals. Again, position available, those types of things. So that is in process.
And will that come up in April or May or before they sign their contract?
Well, there's staffing and all of those things. In terms of if there's an identified vacancy at this point or at whatever point, then that's how it's looked at.
I'm not clear on that.
Well, if there is indeed a vacancy, then that's how that process, principals know, okay, there's a vacancy in terms of transfer and those types of things. So that's how that's looked at.
Okay, so that is a principal as a school decision, or is it a human resource?
Well, everybody works together. Is there a vacancy? And the principal knows that, HR knows that. And then we go about the process of filling that vacancy, either through the transfer process with those who have requested, or is that a new hire?
Okay, so if there is a vacancy, then the principal has to follow up first, or HR, who may have said you get first dibs?
It's done in combination. They work together. There is that discussion and talk about how that proceeds.
Okay, and we will know that when?
Well,
Is it before signing the contract?
Well, the contracts are signed with the district.
Exactly.
And there's a timeline for that. But say a vacancy does not exist at that time in a certain school.
Right.
And then so it may exist later or what have you. That's the piece that has to be worked through. And that we will work through.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon, for your superintendent's report. Also, Dr. Richardson, thank you for making sure we stay within our guidelines as a board to protect the district and the process. We're now at the office of the board, 14.01, the board report. This is a moment in time when any board member wants to share something from their activities within the school district. We do chat with the chair. We also do several school visits but this is a time for any board member to share at this time. Any board reports? Commissioner Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Did have an opportunity to attend the Realtors Breakfast. Certainly want to thank Karen York and her team for a great job, as always. And Dr. Witherspoon, certainly want to echo the sentiments of the Realtors as it relates to our teacher cadet program that presented. I think that was an excellent gesture to allow them to see firsthand the efforts of our district in making sure that we are helping to educate highly qualified and trained teachers. Also participated in the 100 Women Read, which was hosted at Harrow Hill Elementary. Had a wonderful time. And then I want to go back. I was invited to the military ball for Lower Richland High School and had a great time with those award-winning students. And I promised them that I was going to do something tonight in the board meeting to make sure my colleagues knew just how big the win was for them. They said that they competed against the best drill teams of Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Delaware, and DC. And they won. And they are now one of the top 8 seeds in the world. They will be competing in Daytona, Florida for the national title. They said that this is their 3rd consecutive year that they've qualified for this national championship, and it's the 3rd consecutive year that they have won or placed in the state championship. But it's their first time ever as a LR team to win first place in that regional national championship. And they are so proud, and they're asking that their district, and my colleagues wish them luck, that they bring back the national title. So I wanted to make sure I shared that with my colleagues because they are super excited about their accomplishments, as they should be, because all I heard that night was, Ms. Harris, this is huge. We beat Delaware, we beat Maryland. So I just wanted to share with my colleagues that this is big news for our students. So when it's big news for our students, it's big news for us as well. So wanted to make sure I did what I told them I would do tonight in the board meeting. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
All right, Commissioner Devine, and then Commissioner Claiborne.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too, like Commissioner Harris, want to thank the Communications Department, Ms. York and her team for putting on the Realtors Breakfast. That was well attended and got a lot of feedback from our realtors. We thank you for putting that on. Also, the Aerospace Festival and Friends of Hayward Career Center was held Saturday. Aerospace Festival was held at W. Perry Middle School. It's a great opportunity for our young people and their families to see all the great things that they were doing throughout the district. And so we appreciate the BLAST and STEM folk for putting that on for us. So we say thank you for that. And then Dr. Witherspoon, as you are encouraging our young people to read, March is National Reading Month. And so we encourage all of our families to read with your child, particularly elementary, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes a night, whatever is appropriate for you. And then middle school, the same. And then, of course, in high school, we like for them to continue to read whatever is of interest to them. And so we want to just acknowledge that March is National Reading Month. And also, in addition to March being National Reading Month, as we did on the last board meeting, it's also Women's History Month. We profiled several schools in Richland 1 that were named after women. And so this month, or this session, which is our last board meeting before we end the month, I do want to recognize and acknowledge June the 23rd, 2022, marked the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX. As we all know, Title IX gives women athletes the right to equal opportunity in sports and educational institutions, receiving federal dollars from elementary schools to high schools, from high school to colleges and universities. As evident in our Richland 1 policies, we embrace the intent and philosophies espoused in Title IX legislation, perhaps one of the most profound and landmark civil rights laws in the United States. Again, in honor of Women's History Month, we proclaim a commitment to Title IX. Celebrate this month, and as always, our female athletes and those women trailblazers who have made and are making strides as student athletes and in student leadership roles as head coaches, assistant coaches, trainers, and athletic directors. So board, so for our trivia on tonight, and Ms. Weston, you may have a sneak peek into some of this because you've served in this district and we appreciate the years that you've helped us as well. Who can tell me how many female head coaches and athletic directors are currently employed in Richland School District 1? How many female head coaches and athletic directors are currently employed in Richland School District 1?
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot? All right. Now, this is my research along with another staff person. We came up with, I think, 3 athletic directors on the high school level.
3.
And then I have 3 athletic coordinators in middle school. And then I got 56 head coaches ranging from volleyball, track and field, basketball, cross country, tennis, cheer, softball, soccer, swimming, and lacrosse. I think that's about right. Coach Matz, not sure if you're here tonight.
Yeah, he's right there. Yep.
Okay, but maybe we can confirm that. And while I'm also on Women's History Month, Mr. Bishop, you may know this. Who was the first, and I bet Ms. Weston knows, who was the first female district athletic director?
I would probably think Van McLeod.
Close? What'd you say, Ms. Weston?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you.
Who?
Pat Gold?
Miss Pat Gold. Yeah. I talked with her today. I told her I would share that information. She started in 1965 at Booker T. Washington High School after finishing Benedict College. Now, she wasn't an athletic director then, but she started in the district in 1965. And then when Booker T closed, she went over to Eau Claire High School and taught sports. And sometime, we believe in the 80s, don't know the exact date, she became the first, or 70s, she became the first female athletic director for Richland School District 1. So, and she's one of the products as well. And so we want to make sure that we recognize and honor our ladies and our women. So if we don't mind, let's give them all a round of applause. Richland School District 1. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes my report.
Well, while you out here giving out trivia questions, and it is Women's History Month.
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about Title IX.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Devine, can you tell me the name of the student who was the first freshman to win the SEC MVP?
No.
And what school did she attend in Richland School District 1?
She attended the Keenan High School.
That is Malaysia Fulwale,
Yes.
who is putting Richland 1 and Keenan on the map. I mean, I think we're all on the map already for many reasons, but we did want to definitely recognize, as you're recognizing athletics, Title IX, Women's History Month, this young lady is making history, and hopefully all of the Gamecocks and Don Staley will keep on going through this tournament, blazing a trail of success in basketball. So I thought since you were giving out trivia, I can give you a little trivia too,
Yes,
Mr. Devine.
That's
all
right.
Commissioner Claiborne.
Thank you so much, Chairman Bishop. And I do want to begin by saying, Commissioner Devine, you must preface the Keenan with the W and the J.
Excuse me.
Especially when you're giving those kind of accolades.
The W.J. Keenan
Thank you so much.
High School.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now that's done, and thank you for bringing that up, Chairman Bishop. For my board report, I had a couple of things. I did chat with the chair at Hayward Gibbs Middle School, and I believe I may have witnessed one of those sixth graders that I think, if he was not in the Quiz Bowl, he should have been. One of the sharpest group of students. And I've actually spoken with them before, the last time I did chat with the chair there before. So we just took that out as an opportunity to update things that had improved, which they did mention a number of things that had improved at the school. So I definitely want to thank the administration and staff for attending to those wishes and needs of those students. And the other thing I wanted to mention, Watery Community Actions is an organization or an agency that assists low-income individuals within our footprint. They cover a few counties, but Richland is one of those counties. And they hosted an event on Saturday that targeted seniors, assisting them with their lights and water. They did tax preparation for free. And the IRS was there to answer tax questions of the public in general. And at this event, I participated at the event, but at this event, I just want to thank Dr. Witherspoon for making sure our Human Resources Department was represented. They were there, took applications on the spot from individuals that were interested in coming on board with Richland One. And Mr. Jackson, or is it Mr. Jackson? Mr. Jackson, he was there representing the district, and I just want to thank him publicly. He mentioned, it was definitely a success. He got a number of interests from individuals that came to visit the facility, and I just wanted to thank you and thank the administration for making that happen. It was a great success, so thank you. That's it for my board report.
All right, Commissioner Weston.
Commissioner Devine, you had an Eau Claire forum, School Improvement Council forum that was attended, and it was, they brought up some wonderful things and had some great ideas. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to know, because I thought Eau Claire was Bishop's and Eau Claire is yours.
So we split it.
Okay.
So there's no, he and I worked well together. So, and if you technically think about it, AC Flores, same with me and Mr. Lomanak and also Keenan. He and I sort of kind of split Keenan too. So it just kind of, the lines go, because where it sits, it may not be in my physical district, but I represent those constituents as well. So
It was a good meeting with some good ideas. The discussion about how to improve the school so that the students would get some benefit from that. And so I'm hoping that there will be a good follow-up with that.
Yes, ma'am, there will be. Probably looking at, I think we'll give it about a month or so, Dr. Witherspoon, and circle back with the principal, and he'll have, and I have another one in the near future, and I'll let everybody know about that one too.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you.
All right. And thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Devine. I see Commissioner Robert Lomanak, and then I see Commissioner Myers.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. Just a few things. One very minor suggestion, but as we're getting more and more public comment, which I think is wonderful, it's become increasingly clear how jarring it is for poor Commissioner Devine to have to yell out 30 seconds in the middle of people's talking. I suspect it's not very comfortable sometimes. I wonder if there's any way we could get some sort of clock with lights, which you see in other places with similar public comments that can be attached to the podium, just so Commissioner, because it's hard, it's probably not fun for him, it's not fun for the speakers, and it kind of interrupts everything. I think it might be an easy fix to that issue. And then I wanted to thank Dr. Veazey for getting so quickly to the board a list of the number of interventionists and at which schools. I don't hold me to this, I think there were about 40 or 41. I look forward to working with the board to see if we can find ways in our budget discussions to keep all of those interventionists. And then two more brief things. One, I really failed to thank Dr. Gilliard, or Ms. Gilliard, 2 meetings ago at least, for getting back so quickly with the board when I asked about resignations this year as compared to last year. I'm happy to report that the resignations during the year are considerably down this year versus last year. And I spoke with Ms. Gilliard. The other thing that is down for the first time in years is this is the first year we have not sought to revoke any teacher's certificate. And I think those two things go hand in hand, and I think we should be proud that we have reduced the teacher resignations during the year and not asked for any certificates to be revoked or suspended. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, a power duo in our district, Dr. Chris and Lee and Kathleen Lee. I happened to be at Dreher High School Thursday and Friday, and I was there for Dancing with Teachers. But when I was there, what I learned is that Dreer's band had been asked to stand in for the Presbyterian College Blue Hose team because they don't have a band. And so they got to play, the band got to support the Blue Hose when they played South Carolina. And so, of course, everybody at Dreer was rooting for the women Gamecocks, but they were also very much rooting for the Dreer band, which I think was a lot of fun. And that Dreer band has really gotten better and better each year. And then Kathleen Lee hosted the Dancing with Teachers. And I know I mentioned this last year. It is an event that is just so awesome every single year. I do not know how she does it. She pulls it off. They make a lot of money so that the dance folks can go to New York. And I think the money is also going to help the band. So I really want to congratulate Dr. Chris Lee and Kathleen Lee. What a couple. Thank you, Dr. Bishop, Chairman Bishop.
Yeah, Robert, didn't you, well, Commissioner Myers, Commissioner Lomanak, didn't you like MC that event one year?
I've been demoted. I'm a judge now.
Oh, man. You got to work on them 2 left feet, Mr. Lomanak. That's all right. Thank you. Consideration of those lights is probably a good suggestion because I want to say this on behalf of Commissioner Devine. He does the procedure. It's never personal when he does the 30 seconds. It's the procedure. And so we appreciate him being a parliamentarian. The light could be something to consider because some people may think that he's being insensitive. No, he's just doing the process. So just want to make sure we mention that publicly.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Myers.
I just have 2 special events I'd like to speak about. First one on March 14th. It was at Piney Grove Elementary. I had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Bill, and I was greeted by the Pearls and Pink with a big smile, opening the door for me, showed me the main office. I made a joke that I'm not here to read. I'm here to pick up a pen. I'm here to pick up my student. I'm very upset, and she still greeted me with a smile, said, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that issue, and introduced me to her principal, which was just a funny joke I was trying to play on the student, and just to see if she was going to change her atmosphere or change her emotion or anything, and she didn't. And then she had the opportunity to escort me to the library, where we sat for about 10 or 15 minutes before we had the opportunity to go to individual classes. And I just want to speak about the opportunity, just sitting there for 10 or 15 minutes. I had spoke with so many inspiration women from the community, from all over, from the police department being out there, the old principal from coming back and reading to the students. We had a writer come in, and she actually brought her own book and her new book and went to different classrooms talking about what she did and how she became a writer. Just some AKAs. It was not some, it was a lot of AKAs in the building. And I don't want to just talk about the experience with reading to the students, but I want to talk about the experience that I gained just being invited to the program. It was very organized, and it left me inspired to actually want to touch the youth, females individually. I also had an opportunity to attend another reading day on March 22nd at Hoare Hill Elementary, and I went to a kindergarten, I'm sorry. It was, my first one was a kindergarten classroom. And I opened up my first statement with asking questions, thinking that I would give them an opportunity to talk and stand up and interact. I want to state that was a very, 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 very bad idea, because once I had them talking and standing up and interacting, I couldn't stop them. I tried so many different ways, and then it took the teacher literally 2 seconds to sit there and raise her hand, and the whole classroom stopped and said, yes, relationship I didn't have at that time. But just reading the book to them and then having a helper to come up and just read the words that they could identify as sight words. And just enjoying the 30 minutes I had with them, because there was so many volunteer readers that was coming behind me. And I was just expiring, just noticing that on these days when it's open to the community, it's so many volunteers that's willing to come in and to just give their times. So I just want to say thank you for the invitation, and I appreciate it.
All right, any other board reports? All right, thank you. Want to say a few things. Well, maybe just one. And I need Coach Bob Matz to help me with this. Coach Bob Matz, wanted to ask the question about classified. Yes, sir, please. Classified, certified employees and volunteering, coaching. Can you explain what that is? I asked him a question today. Can certified employees, can classified employees volunteer coach?
At this point, it's the practice that we do not allow the classified employees to volunteer coach.
Volunteer coach.
Because of hourly requirements of being paid as an hourly employee.
All right. Okay. Thank you for putting that on the public platform to discuss, and I appreciate that. I think that's the only thing I had. Thank you so much. Any other? Oh, I wanted to recognize Unity on the Hardwood of SC for doing a great event to get alumni re-engaged with the district with a purpose to give back to the district. And I believe I may be accurate about this amount of money, but I think they gave $2,000 to Keenan and maybe $2,000 to Eau Claire to help with uniform costs or athletic costs. And so I did want to recognize that organization for doing such a great event to bring alumni back to engagement with the district. So that was very great, and I want to highlight it. With that being said, that concludes my.
I thought Mr. Devon.
You got something, Devon?
Just one.
Okay, Commissioner Devon.
Thank you, Chairman Bishop. It is basically the end of the first quarter, third month. We typically have a work session each quarter. We did miss it this quarter. I'm asking that we schedule a work session for the month of April. And then we do one April, May, June, maybe June-ish, so that we can kind of get back on track and move forward going forward. So I would ask that we put that on the agenda, send around a doodle poll, however we're going to do it, and let's put it on the month of April is my thought, but whatever we can get a majority of the board there and to get the topics and we can move forward. We need to do our keep up with our quarterly workshops or work sessions that we've always done in the past. And I think that will help Ms. Weston with some of the things that she was inquiring about.
Yeah, also some of your questions during superintendent's report, let's email that to him so he'll have something to follow up. If you don't mind emailing that list of things you inquired about. That being said, let's go to the last item on the agenda, which is the adjournment. But before we adjourn, let me first say happy spring break to everyone. Be safe, take care of yourself, be restorative to yourself. Listen to this last statement, which is 15.01. The next regular meeting of the Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners will be held on April 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Stevenson Administration Building, SAB, located at 1616 Richland Street, Columbia, South Carolina 29201. With no objection, we now stand adjourned.